and Casey Wheeledge, Julian Smith, Kyle Ward alongside the aforementioned Sam Eccles in their starting 11. Liberty have Sam Farner, Michael Huss, and Leo Kane up front. Gabe Finley, Ocho Fastine, Luke Eberle in the midfield. Lucas Kelly, Bryce Swinehart, Carlos Trott, Brant Betts, the defenders. And we'll introduce you in just a moment when we get the opportunity to our starting goalkeepers for both teams. Both of these schools have used multiple goalkeepers. Eastern Illinois, in fact, has had 3 different goalkeepers start. Maxwell Allen, 5th year from Indianapolis, sends it long. Only fall to the feet of Carlos Trott, the junior Brazilian, at the back wearing 5 in blue, with Lucas Kelly, the freshman, flanking him as the left back, looking for Eberle wearing that red captain's armband. But Eastern Illinois can come the other way. Chuga charging down that far side. Turns with it, sends in a left foot cross that's fired back out by Bryce Swinehart, the sophomore from Charlotte, who has scored 5 goals this year, even playing at the back for Liberty. It's a 4-3-3 for the Flames. Something similar for Eastern, though. It almost looked more like a 4-2-4 for a second there in possession. Bruce trying to connect with Carol Lorenzo. And it's put out for a Liberty throw. And the referee has given a foul. Michael Huss, the senior from Phoenix, holding the back of his head. Couldn't see who was on his back for Eastern Illinois, but somebody just maybe got a forearm or an elbow up into the back of Huss's head. And a dangerous set piece early for Liberty. It'll be Gabe Finley, the senior from Lynchburg, coach's son, over to take it. Has started all 17 for the Flames this year. 5 goals and 3 assists. Finley whips one in to the back post. Swinehart had a little swing at it, but he fouled somebody in the Eastern Illinois box.
Free kick for Eastern Illinois.
Those starting goalkeepers for Eastern Illinois, it's the junior Chad Smith, who will take this free kick. He's out of Cincinnati. Has allowed 1.26 goals per game on average, has saved close to 73% of the shots against him this year, has kept 4 clean sheets. This is his 11th appearance in net for the Panthers, his 10th start. And right on cue, here's the other starting goalkeeper, Liberty's Owen Moore, sophomore from Palace Grove, New Jersey, who makes his 12th appearance, all starts for the Flames this year. 1.18 his goals against number, and he has saved just under 64% of the shots against him. That goals against average 3rd best in the OVC this year, behind Sam Gomez of SIUE, who easily leads the conference, and Enzo Gill of Lindenwood, whom we'll see in the second of our 2 games today. Today's starting goalies presented by Explore Evansville, where everything is in reach. Explore Evansville, Indiana. Here's Huss on the byline for Liberty. Couldn't get one into the middle, but it's out for a Flames corner. In the regular season, Liberty had 112 corners, the most in the Ohio Valley Conference, and they have one in the opening 4 minutes this afternoon. It'll be Ocho Fastine, senior from Louisville, second-year Flame, who spent his first 3 seasons with his hometown Cardinals. Left foot in-swinger right at the 6. There were a couple of Flames foreheads up for it. Lucas Kelly looked like he had a good chance, but it comes out for Leo Kane. The freshman goes to the byline. His left foot cross skewed off the outside of his foot and goes behind for an Eastern Illinois goal kick. More than 4 minutes played. A calm start. We can get you to our keys to the match, presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Designated drivers are the real MVP. If you've been drinking, pass your keys to a sober friend. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. For Eastern Illinois, they're going to have to find a way to score if they want to push for a win. They only had 16 goals this season, second fewest in the OVC, just 16 goals in their 17 games. And, of course, for Liberty, it's really more of the same. for Eastern Illinois that a regular season meeting, a 4-0 Liberty victory, and that was in Charleston as well on October the 12th. Huss and Gora Gora got it going for Liberty very early. Here's Huss on the ball in the corner, but loses out after tangling with Jake McConnery, the freshman Canadian. And it's cleared by Bruce. Out for Lechuga. Nice little bit of trickeration on the far side, but it goes out for a Liberty throw. The Flames got it started early and often. Huss in the 4th minute, Gora Gora in the 9th in that October 12th meeting in Charleston. Grayson Gardner added one in the 38th, and Matthew Terrell had the cherry on top, the 4th goal for the Flames in the 89th minute. But they were well on their way inside those first 9 minutes. Eastern Illinois has survived at least the first 6 minutes so far today, goalless. At this point in that meeting in mid-October, it was already 1-0 to Liberty, and it wasn't long from becoming 2-0. Here's Finley. A few white shirts in pursuit, but Finley has some space. Couple of blue shirts to aim for. Smith gets a punch to it straight up in the air, and he is up to claim it. Well handled in the end by the junior Chad Smith in goal for EIU. Panthers have had a tough time these last few minutes just trying to string a couple of passes together. Huss had to let that one go. He would have been in an offside position from when the header was played by Trotter. A little bit sloppy on the touch by Kyle Kimberling, another freshman from Crestwood, Kentucky, outside Cincinnati. And another throw for Liberty. 7 minutes gone in the first half of the first ever OVC men's soccer championship game ever played. And that is a foul called against Kerr Lorenzo. It was a little bit late to whistle, but it certainly looked like a little clip against Conne. It's Eberle. Flames have been comfortable in possession. Eberle with the left, but it's right at Smith, who handles it nicely. Conne was lurking in the event of a rebound. And Eastern Illinois just under pressure as soon as they get on the ball. Very little space for the Panthers. Meanwhile, the Liberty midfield, even in the well into the EIU half, has been able to enjoy, you wouldn't say unchallenged, but comfortable possession certainly. Here's Kelly. Eberle has been the focal point of that midfield. Maybe just a little bit casual with that ball to Finley, who did not have a lot of space. And the Panthers get back on the ball, at least for the moment. Here's one for Kimberling to chase, but it runs out over the touchline, and Kelly will have the throw. Let's meet our coaches. Those coaches' resumes presented by Dental of Tennessee. Clear eyesight, full smile. Go Delta Vision. More information at deltadentaltn.com. Eastern Illinois under second-year head coach Josh Oakley, who came over to the Panthers from NAIA Spring Arbor. And he's engineered already what you'd have to call a turnaround, even if the Panthers still lost just over half their games this year. Because last season, as you see there, they were 1-12-3. From their 16 games, they got just 6 points, and they went winless, just 1 point in a draw from 8 matches in the Summit League, their conference, a year ago. So Oakley already has EIU pointed in the right direction. Meanwhile, for Liberty, it's Kelly Findley, who's in his 5th season with the Flames. Had previous Division I stops at Butler and NC State as the head coach. He's also an assistant at Davidson and in the Sporting Kansas City Academy in the 2 intervening years between his stints at NC State and now at Liberty. You can see the frustration from Julian Smith there when that ball went out of play. Senior from Indianapolis, who just hammered the ball into the Liberty bench. Lechuga. And EIU can finally create some breathing space for for those defenders, McConnery and Bruce, just happy to play the ball back and forth for a moment, catch their breath a little bit. 10 minutes gone by. The first of two quarterfinals today. Lindenwood and Chicago State scheduled for a 4 o'clock kickoff. Though, of course, that is to some degree dependent on what happens in this game. How tournament play always is. We would have extra time in the event that it's even after 90. Oh, that was dangerous from Liberty. Sam Eccles was lurking there. But Trott did enough to scrape that one wide to Kelly, who could get it cleared. Best chance so far for the Panthers by far, and they didn't even touch the ball in that sequence. But Eccles was not far away, and if he got almost anything on that, it would have been difficult for Owen Moore. But in the event we're even after 90, would have two 10-minute periods of added time, which would be played in full, no golden goal. Foul on Liberty. Kerr Lorenzo was caught. We would go to penalties after that point. Liberty enjoying an improved campaign as well. Just 3 wins in their 12 matches a year ago, though they also had 6 draws. Half of their games ended even. 3-3-6, their record a year ago. Though just 1 win, 4 losses, and 3 draws in ASUN play. They were actually picked to win the OVC by the league's coaches in the preseason, just narrowly edged SIUE for the top spot in that preseason poll. 3 teams got first place votes. Liberty, SIUE, and Houston Christian, which was picked to finish 3rd. In the end, HCU finished 7th in the regular season. Swinehart dealt with that well, and it's sent clear by Trott. And Houston Christian was one of 2 teams, along with Southern Indiana, that did not qualify for this first ever OVC Men's Soccer Championship here in Edwardsville. Here's Kone down the line for Eberle, who has been pretty stationary in the midfield. That's a good little run to exploit the space down to the byline. Create some space for Kone to pick a pass. Whips one in with the right foot. Headed partially clear by Bruce. And a foul called against Sam Farner, the sophomore striker from Pittsburgh. So EIU has survived 13 minutes at least. The Panthers at this point were down 2-0 in the regular season meeting back on October the 12th in Charleston. Just 1 win away from home for Eastern Illinois this year. 1 win, 5 losses, 1 draw in their 7 away games. Neither one of these teams had played a neutral site game before this point. The only non-conference win for Eastern was against Governor State, an NAIA school, back in August. Their 3 Division I wins were all against OVC opponents, 2 of them over Southern Indiana, which finished last in the OVC, and those games were, you'd have to say, dispositive of USI's season, and those 6 points from 6 in those 2 meetings, more than anything, what put Eastern Illinois here in Edwardsville as opposed to Southern Indiana or Houston Christian. 2-0 win in Evansville on October the 19th, and then a week later, the 26th, a 1-0 win in Charleston. They did get points in 4 of their last 5. They lost to Liberty, that 4-0 game we've talked about, October 12th. After that, a draw against Chicago State, win over Southern Indiana, draw against Lindenwood, and then another win over USI before losing 4-1 on this field on last Sunday against SIUE, the OVC regular season champion and number 1 seed, whom we'll see in the semifinals on Wednesday. Kone running after that ball from Huss. Cleared as far as Kimberlang, who tries to get one long. Care Lorenzo on it for Eastern Illinois. Kimberling in a little bit of space. Tracked by Eberly. And the ball goes long where Swinehart can put his foot through it. Too tall for Smith. And Swinehart can settle on it. Back for his goalkeeper, Owen Moore. Liberty also did most of their work at home this year. Sent out for an EIU throw. Panthers have it deep at the Liberty end of the field. 7 of the 9 Flames wins this year came in Lynchburg. They had a 2-4-2 record away from home, but again, none of those neutral site games. Coming off a 2-0 loss to Incarnate Word in San Antonio last Sunday, as that shot rolls wide from Sam Eccles. First shot for Eastern, but never really looked like troubling Owen Moore. That was after Liberty got a 2-1 win over UIW weeks ago in Lynchburg. Looked like maybe they were going to set themselves up to get one of those 2 byes in this tournament. In the end, Liberty finished just 1 point behind. Even a draw in that game would have been sufficient. But instead, a loss last Sunday in San Antonio. And that's ultimately what put the Flames in this game as the number 3 seed. Just look at all the space there in the midfield. How much of that is controlled by Liberty? A ball that should have been a 50-50. Instead was more like an 80-20, if that, because there were 4 blue shirts and just 1 white in the area. Care Lorenzo, bumped by Eberly in a foul. 3rd foul called on the Flames. 2 so far, who averaged only 9.5 fouls a game, Eastern Illinois, in the regular season, the fewest in the Ohio Valley Conference. Only 27 yellow cards, also the fewest. Lechuga takes that from Eberly. Sprayed out for Allen, who was looking for Smith. And Bruce tracks it down for the Panthers. Here's Kimberling right on the touchline. Bruce wants to go long, and that one all wrong from the beginning. Just not a lot of sustained possession. For Eastern Illinois to this point, though, the Panthers have settled in a little bit compared to their start, and there's maybe the first sloppy Liberty giveaway of the game. But the first touch just let Sam Eccles down. It was asking a lot of him. Fastine was calling for that ball, adamantly so. Maybe came just a little bit later than he wanted from Brant Betts, the right back. Play switched over for Kelly. There's Kane, pokes it into space, but that was always going to be Anton Van Effrink's ball. Redshirt sophomore from the Netherlands. Kane can turn, finds Finley in some space. Finley picks his head up, tried to spray one out, looking for Farner, but just didn't get the angle quite right. And it's an Eastern Illinois goal kick, nearly 20 minutes gone by. So you'd have to say, considering that 4-0 result in the regular season, Illinois would be the more pleased of the two teams at how these 20 minutes have gone for the 0-0 scoreline, if nothing else. The winner of this game will advance to Wednesday's semifinal. They'll play in the first game that day as well against Incarnate Word, the number 2 seed. A 3 o'clock Central Time kickoff on Wednesday here in Edwardsville. And the host, number 1 seed SIUE, will play the late game scheduled for 6 o'clock Central Time against the winner of our second game today, Lindenwood and Chicago State, which is supposed to kick off at 4 o'clock, assuming that this game ends early enough to allow the requisite time to warm up. Taylor Lorenzo sends one long for Eccles to chase, see if he can get there. Keeps it inside the byline and wins a throw for EI. Nearly got a corner, but it's out for a throw right down by the corner flag. Space was closed down by Carlos Trott, first-year Flame Brazilian who spent his last couple of years at Patrick Henry College, where he was a third-team JUCO All-American, Carlos Trott. So Maxwell Allen, the 5th year from Indianapolis, with the throw, and that's a waste. Just a miscommunication with Julian Smith. And Allen threw it right out for a Liberty goal kick. Ooh, Finley taken down. It's an easy whistle. Goes against Kyle Kimberling, the freshman. And he came off limping as well. In fact, Kimberling is very nearly went to ground there, walking out of the left side of your picture. He's still really favoring that left leg. You don't love to speculate, but the way he's limping, like he's just trying to put pressure on the left leg and he can't, makes me wonder if he just took a knock of his left knee there. Might need to get him a little bit of attention. Probably wise to go down there rather than continue trying to shake it off and potentially give Liberty a man or half-man advantage on what could be a dangerous set piece. Instead, he's going to limp off, and he'll be replaced by Jared Cornejo, the junior from Normal, Illinois, who has appeared in all 18 games now for Eastern Illinois this year, counting this one all but 4 times as a substitute.
Number 27, Jared Cornejo.
Christopher Colifon is our referee. Kelly lofts it in for Eberle. Left foot ball, not bad, but too far behind his intended target, Michael Huss. Here's Betts. And his ball is turned back by the new arrival, Cornejo, the first man to come off the bench for either team. Swinehart goes back for Trott. Had a lot of heat on it for Eberle. Really nice first touch with his left foot. Eberle has to be leading Liberty in touches in this first half. He's been involved in just about all the buildup for the Flames. Here's Kade popping up on the right. He started on the left-hand side, but he and Farner have switched sides. Farner out on the left now with Huss through the middle. Eberle, as he was falling down, still managed to get it to Farner, whose first touch was just a little bit heavy and allowed Smith to step in. But Eberle right back on it. He tangles with Smith, keeps it in. And Farner can protect possession for the Flames. Swinehart in acres of space. Findlay has the run from Kane, gets it right back. Still Findlay, and it's skewed out off the left foot of Jake McConnery for a Liberty throw. But the Flames starting to get some of their early game rhythm back. Eastern Illinois had created more of a choppy field of the game for the last 10 minutes or so. Flames starting to find a rhythm. Fastine to throw it. And Trott is up for this. He and Eberle are inside the 6. It's Eberle who was up there, but it went over his head, and McConnery, the freshman, got his forehead to it for the Panthers. Huss sends one in, flicked on header by Trott, who had stayed up, but he just didn't get enough on it, and in the end, it's well wide. But the Flames getting a little bit closer now. And Trott has found the back of the net a couple of times this season. His first in a Liberty uniform. Nearly 25 minutes played. The first game of the inaugural OVC Men's Soccer Championship. And we're still waiting on our first goal. Somebody's going to get to write their name in the record book as the first man to ever score a goal at an OVC tournament. And Huss had a good crack at it. A lot coming on that. Smith couldn't hold it. Fortunately for him, the Panthers were in the right position, and the throw-in will be delayed so that Jake McConnery can tie his shoe. It might have come off altogether. He's going to have to get his shoe back on and lace up. McConnery just fixing that right shoe. He took his time, maybe enjoying a breather for himself and his teammates. But now we're ready. Another long throw coming, it would appear. Eberle up, flicked it on. It's down and loose in front, but blocked. Smith got something on. That shot from Sam Farner, which looked otherwise like it was at least going to be on frame. Lechuga finds Cornejo, the substitute. Maxwell Allen. Not a bad ball, but a good intervention by Lucas Kelly. Got a flying left foot to it. And again, Eastern Illinois just sloppy on the throw-ins. Meanwhile, for Liberty, it's been too easy to get the ball back into play. The Flames have done a really good job of making that difficult. It's a couple of times now in these last few minutes that Eastern Illinois in an advantageous position has just been too casual and ceded possession rather simply off a throw. Trott clips one up for Farner. That was asking a lot of Liberty's number 9. Did well to give himself a chance, but never had a hope of really corralling that, and that could well be our first booking.
Liberty foul, free kick for Eastern Illinois.
Considering that Julian Smith might have been behind Kelly otherwise, looks like the referee is going to let Kelly go with that foul. And I don't know that Kelly knew a whole lot about it. I don't think there was a lot of cynicism in that necessarily. Eastern Illinois hasn't had many chances get the ball in the area. And set piece comes for nothing. Liberty can try to break. Findlay with Kone running ahead of him. Picks his head up. And here's Fastine. Kelly has it. Doesn't ever get to him. Here's Smith. Cornejo. Under pressure from Eberle, he slips. And Liberty right back on it. That looked for a moment like it could be a really dangerous opportunity for the Panthers to counter after Smith intercepted that pass almost at a dead sprint going the other direction. Here's Eccles. Very few touches for him in the opening half hour. And that's out for an EIU corner out of not very much. Eccles creates the best set piece opportunity for the Panthers and what could very well become their best scoring opportunity in this first half.
Number 12, Skylar
Smith is going to make way for EIU, and Trey Gora comes on, the junior from Bartlett, Illinois. His 12th appearance, 11 of them as a substitute. Julian Smith sits down. He was pretty involved in his 28 minutes and change on the pitch to begin the match. A lot of air underneath the corner, and it comes all the way over to the near side. No opportunity for any Panther to make a play on it, but Bruce puts one out off Kelly.
Corner.
Bruce will have another corner. So Felipe Lorenzo will take this one. Be a left foot in-swinger from the senior out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Another high looper to the back post, and a foul called against Eastern Illinois. It was Gora who had just come on, who got his head to it. You'd assume that's the foul that was spotted. And Carol Lorenzo was already complaining about the first corner, that he thought his shirt had been held. But Christopher Colifon calls the foul on Eastern Illinois, and Liberty ends up with a free kick. Flames waiting on a couple of substitutions. Looks like Perry Blay, the freshman, and Gora the junior, getting ready to come on. So we're going to have a Gora on the field for each team. Trey Gora at right back for EIU, and Gora getting ready to come on for Liberty. Look at the run from Kone. Leo Kone able to get one toward the middle. Sent right back to him by Bruce. Too tall for Eberle, and he just pulled on the shirt of Maxwell Allen, who has moved up to play more of a right wing role where Julian Smith had been, and Trey Gora takes over right back where Allen started. The Liberty substitutions look like they've been ready for a little while. See how much longer they hold. Huss able to bring it down, but Gora was there for Eastern. There he is again, and Carol Lorenzo sends it back for Bruce. Here's Jake McConnery. Gora tried to go long. I don't know exactly who he was aiming for. Even if Kelly hadn't touched that, it's going to go harmlessly out for a goal kick. There were no Panthers in the vicinity for a ball played with that much pace. Trott sends it out to the near side for Farner. Eberle, second, to make that good diagonal run from midfield toward the corner flag on the near side. Kelly, a little deflection on the cross. And Farner ended up on the deck. No serious appeal for a penalty. Carol Lorenzo clips it nicely into some space, and again, Liberty flirting with the referee's book, because Trott was rather violent into the back there of Maxwell Allen. But our referee, Christopher Colifon, has let things go to this point.
foul, free kick for Eastern Illinois.
Carol Lorenzo going to send one in. Just past 33 minutes played in our opening half. He doesn't send one in the end. EIU wanted to change the angle. Gora got something to that. And Owen Moore evidently thought it was going to be a corner for Eastern Illinois. Got over on the dive to keep it from going out over that byline. The Panthers, in fact, have 2 corners to Liberty's 1 now, though the Flames have had a couple of set pieces that operated essentially as corners. Here's Kone, has Huss in the middle. Farner joining him. Findlay, not a bad idea there. Just a little too heavy off Findlay's right foot. But that was set up pretty well for Kone to get into the half space there on the byline. And Liberty now will make those substitutions. Farner makes way for Gora. And Betts for Perry Blay, the freshman. So a couple of Minnesotans come on. First 2 substitutes to enter the fray for the Flames. Blay has only been used a few times as a substitute. It's just his 4th appearance off the bench for Liberty as compared to 10 starts. Out of Rogers High School, Gora making his 18th appearance, a dozen of them as a substitute. And again, no foul this time. Liberty going in harshly. Bryce Swinehart went to the slide. Eastern Illinois wanted a foul and maybe even a booking, but no foul given. There is, though, a shoulder nudge called against EIU. Ocho Fastine down. Certainly the Flames have had the better of the game. 6 shots to Eastern's 1. All 3 shots on goal have come from the Flames. But you wouldn't say there's been a fantastic opportunity yet for either team. Michael Huss put a good shot on target that Smith had to just parry away. Here's Kone. Tried to cut it back. He had Eberle arriving from midfield. Now for a Liberty throw, the Flames are going to make at least one more change at this interval.
Liberty substitution, number 19, Elijah John.
Elijah John, the freshman, will make his 18th appearance for the Flames, all but one as a substitute. In place of Fastine, which is interesting because it changes the approach now for Liberty on this throw, because Fastine is the one who launches them in from the touchline, and he's done it 3 or 4 times from that exact spot down the right-hand side. Over across the way. Now with him out, it'll be Blay to take the throw, and the long throw is out of play. So Trott went from the 6 all the way back to midfield, the Liberty center back, because the long throw was no longer viable. He was looking for Gora on the long ball. Gora took a body blow and ended up worse for wear in a collision with Trey Gora. And it's Gora who's going to get the first booking of the game. Wow.
Yellow card.
He was second to the ball, to be fair. You can see what the referee was looking at, but Gora was trying to play the ball, I think, and just sort of clattered into Trey Gora. 2 players running into each other in a collision, and 3 out of their 4 names are Gora, which makes it awfully confusing for us. So it's a hard luck for Gora. I can see what the referee is looking at there. That the Liberty number 7 is just second to the ball, and ultimately he's responsible for that, even if there's no malintent. But he didn't know much about where Trey Gora was, and also came off significantly worse for the collision. Luckily he was okay, but he took a shoulder pretty much straight to the chest and went down. But you can understand the referee's principle that Trey Gora was there first. Here's Swinehart. Surprised the referee didn't give a foul there either. Elijah John looked like he was beaten to the ball by Kale Lorenzo. Kind of grabbed at him, maybe just not much contact. The referee was right there. Eastern Illinois wanted that throw, didn't get it. Here's Elijah John. Sprays one just over the head of Adrian Lechuga. Huss got his head to it off the ball from Cornet, I should say, and it just goes off his forehead and wide. Liberty's starting to get closer, but nonetheless, now we've played 38 minutes. This is around when the Flames made it 3-0 in the October game against Charleston. Still were goalless this afternoon in the first game of the inaugural OVC Men's Soccer Championship. Glad you could be with us on ESPN+. Snake Adder with you here from Ralph Cordy Stadium in Edwardsville, home of the SIUE Cougars. Unbeaten this year and easily the number 1 seed in this tournament. Certainly the team to beat, even without home field advantage. Then you add getting to play here on Bob Gilker Field, and it's going to be a tall task for anyone to stop the Cougars from claiming the first OVC men's soccer title. Already got the regular season championship with 28 points in the conference to just 15 for second place Incarnate Word. Liberty had 14. Gora able to get away from Trey Gora, just slipped it through his legs perhaps. Eccles, I think, trying to draw the foul all the way on Trott. Looked like he had the position. Eastern Illinois wanted the foul, didn't get it. But the Panthers did get a throw. Here's Trey Gora down the line in the direction of Maxwell Allen. But Kelly sends one clear for Liberty. McConnery gives it away rather cheaply. There's Elijah John. Eberle hasn't been as involved these last few minutes. Felt like he was on the ball. Every third Flame to touch the ball was Eberle through most of this first half. Here's Blay. Kelly. Eberle just sitting a little bit deeper now without Fasting out there. That's probably the main reason. Eberle playing more of the 6 now. Doesn't quite have the same freedom to get forward. He took a big hit there.
Eastern Illinois foul.
And a foul on Jared Cornejo of Eastern Illinois gives Liberty a set piece in a dangerous position. You can understand Eastern Illinois' frustration broadly in these last few minutes. The Panthers have felt they were hard done by not to get a few whistles, but really Cornejo can have no complaints. Didn't get near the ball and clattered Eberle, who knew what he was doing. Here's Kelly with a chance to send it in. McConnery flying through the air, deadened that really nicely. Set up the clearance by Anton Van Efrink. Inside 4 minutes to play in the opening half. Kelly swings one toward Huss, tries to knock it down for Finley. And just misplayed by Gora to the delight of the EIU bench. Trott sends it long. Kara Lorenzo on it. Looking for Eccles, who has been awfully isolated up there for Eastern Illinois in this first half. Trey Gora just tried to get by Gora, but couldn't keep it in play on this touchline here on the near side. Another chance for Liberty to try to unlock this Panthers back line in the final 90 seconds. Gabe Findlay. Blocked by McConnery. Lorenzo sends it the rest of the way clear. Eccles is after it. Swinehart there first, though. And back for Owen Moore. And you wonder, especially when you have an underdog involved in a tournament setting, every minute that goes by, it's going to give Eastern Illinois more optimism, more confidence, and it becomes more viable for the Panthers, not that they've necessarily parked the bus in this game, to try to wait it out for penalties. A long way to go before you make that a viable strategy. At this point, 65 plus minutes with the potential of 20 minutes of added, or extra time, I should say. Finley's left foot shot blocked by Lorenzo. Inside 90 to play in this opening half, 0-0. Findlay clipped for Gora. Kane was making a good run, but it was just too far out in front of him, and Eastern Illinois maybe just trying to run a few of these final seconds off, going to make a substitution. Jesse DaCosta, the senior from Perth, Australia, will make just his third appearance of the season.
In the first half, 1 minute. Eastern Illinois substitution number 35, Jesse DaCosta.
And Adrian Lechuga is off. But the substitution alone just took 30 or more of the 75 remaining seconds off the first half clock. Eberle for Kelly. Swinehart tried to fit one through toward Haas. Here's Findlay, who's been popping up on the ball a lot in this final third. Kane looking for Gora.
10,
shielded
9,
well by Trey
8,
Gora.
7,
And
6,
in the end, easy
5,
for Chad Smith to get
4,
on it
3,
and waste away the
2,
final seconds
1.
of the first half. Liberty had the better of the action. In fact, 9 shots to 1 in
And
the
there's
end.
the end of the first half with a score
But
tie.
Looks like back to the starting 11 for both teams. Betts, Kimberling, Smith, or rather Kimberling, Smith, and Lechuga back on for Eastern Illinois. Fastine, Farner, and Betts for Liberty. Teams will switch ends, of course, so the Flames in Navy will attack the goal to the right side of your picture. Here's Farner. His cross deflected and handled well on a short hop off the turf by Jake McConnery, the freshman from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, who has played well at the center of that back line along with William Bruce for EIU. Leo Kane was frequently a danger in the final third, and he wins a throw for the Flames. Again, it's much easier for Liberty on the throws than it has for Eastern Illinois. You wonder if that's just the mental and physical fatigue for the Panthers having to play without the ball, having to defend as much as they have in these first 46 minutes today. Just a little less hop in the Panthers' step maybe when the ball goes out of play into touch. Eccles, imagine he'll be critical, keeping his work rate up despite how little service he's received, how isolated he's been leading the line for the Panthers, because Eastern Illinois might only get one chance if they get that. It's more likely to fall to Eccles than anyone else. They'll need him to take it. Here's Kane. Eccles tried to just leave that one in the path of Smith, but it skimmed off his left foot, didn't get anything on it in the end. Here's Allen for EIU, just trying to shield it out. Well done by Farner to at least turn that into a Panthers throw rather than a goal kick. Maxwell Allen back to right back to begin the half again as he did the first for EIU. After the substitutions came on for the Panthers, he moved up to play right wing, and Trey Gora took his spot at right back. Gora came on in place of Julian Smith. Eccles continues to work, trying to make himself available off the throw, and allowed him an opportunity to switch the play for Adrian Lechuga, but that pass was just not what he needed. Over the top, looking for Kone. Not a bad idea, but Brant Betts didn't get the ball right. Kone for Findlay. Betts in a lot of space. Looked like he had a mind to go all the way back, and indeed he will for Trott, who I'm not sure welcomed that pass. Got rid of it quickly. Findlay nearly pulled it in, but it falls to Lechuga, who sends it clear toward Eccles. Look at this. EIU has a few white shirts forward, but a critical intervention by Bryce Swinehart, lunging in on Julian Smith to at least slow the would-be Panthers break. And Trott is called for the foul. He put his shoulder into Kimberling. And Kyle Kimberling, the freshman who has started nearly every game this year for the Panthers, draws the foul. And EIU will have a dangerous set piece just a few minutes into this second half. Eastern Illinois has had only one shot. It came from Eccles. Left foot effort from just outside the 18. Relatively early days of the first half. And he pulled it well wide. They have not challenged Owen Moore, the sophomore goalkeeper for Liberty. At the back post, Moore up for it, just gets a touch. And Farner able to clear it for an Eastern Illinois throw. Moore maybe had a moment or two of panic there, but able to get enough on it. And Farner was authoritative with the clearance. Looks like Bruce to throw it. Toward the 6 for Eccles, who was tied up with a couple of flames. And was he called for the foul? Interesting.
Eastern Illinois foul.
Josh Oakley, the second-year head coach of the Panthers, had his arms outstretched to either side. And I can't say I blame him. Eccles was kind of in the middle. Even if he was getting into the back of the flame who was in front of him, I'm not sure it was making a whole lot of difference because the ball was well over his head. Wasn't really impeding anybody from entering the play from this vantage point, but again, the referee a lot closer. Seven fouls have been called against each team, just one booking. Yellow card issued in the 37th minute to Gora Gora, just a couple of minutes after he came on from the Liberty bench. Here's Gabe Findlay. It was Eberle early on who was constantly on the ball for Liberty. Feels like it's been Findlay late stages of the second and now early in the first half, I should say, now early in the second. Had a foul called against Kone for getting into Lechuga right in front of the Liberty bench. Of course, not a lot of agreement on the Flames substitutes.
Free kick, Eastern Illinois.
It was enough to get Matthew Geringer, the fourth official's attention. He didn't say anything. He just kind of walked out and looked down at the Liberty bench. They calmed down. There was plenty of dissent on that decision. Here's Eccles. Not a lot of space for him. Ultimately ends up on the ground. Pokes it away from Swinehart. Lechuga is fouled. Hectic sequence. And the referee stopping the clock. I wonder if there could be a yellow card forthcoming. That a little bit odd to see him stopping the clock immediately. That free kick kind of came out of nothing. It was messy, and Eccles was on the ground just trying to keep the play alive, but the Panthers will take it. Referee, I guess, just stopped the clock for the free kick. No yellow. Would have been a surprising yellow, but he came running in immediately. So a free kick for the Panthers. Felipe Lorenzo, the Brazilian senior, will be the one to take it with his left foot. Has 1 goal this year for the Panthers, who have only scored 16 all season in 17 games, second fewest in the Ohio Valley Conference this year. Lorenzo just sent it curling over. Not a bad connection. Owen Moore might say he had it covered. Not a whole lot of pace behind it. But it wasn't bad from Lorenzo. Second shot for Eastern Illinois. First one for either team in this second half. After Liberty really dominated those early minutes on the ball, though the Flames didn't necessarily turn all that positive possession into any bona fide chances, it's been a lot more comfortable, it feels, for Eastern Illinois, at least as far as just taking the sting out of the game, trying to kill off the clock. They haven't produced many chances, but they have done a good job of keeping this high-powered Liberty attack in check. Flames scored 35 goals this year, second in the conference behind only SIUE, 17th in all of Division I, those 35 goals. Here's Allen, had it poked away from him by Farner, and a throw. Again, Eastern Illinois just happy to do that. Take the air right out of the ball. And you can understand why. They would take a conservative approach after a 4-0 home defeat against these Flames less than a month ago. Gabe Finley on it for Liberty. He has his pocket picked from behind by a flying Smith, but Swinehart steps in to make the play. Kone working down the right-hand side for Liberty and just danced his way straight past Kyle Ward. Ward did well to recover. Freshman from Chatham, Illinois. Got back goal side of his fellow freshman, Kone. Here's Huss. Michael Huss trying to turn. Gabe Findley. Kone was offside. He puts it in the back of the net. But Kone well offside, and the flag immediately up. A decision for the referee's assistant. Kone thought perhaps his third goal, although I don't know that he even thought that, to be honest. He never celebrated. Nobody for Liberty did. Allen goes long, and there's just nobody there. That's the concern for Eastern. Oh, and there's a foul, even though I don't think any contact actually occurred on that play. Finley stopped short and lost his balance in order to try to avoid Anton Van Efrank, who was probably getting ready to foul him. Had there be contact, you can understand why the referee would make the decision from his vantage point. But from here, I don't know that they actually even collided. But Liberty get the free kick, closing in on 10 minutes played in the second half, 55 in the game. Trott floats one in toward the penalty spot. Bruce gets his head to it, and Lechuga sends it out toward Eccles. Kone tries to turn, gets past Lechuga, bends one in toward Huss. Allen pops it into the air. Eberle and Kimberling are both there, and Kimberling gets his foot to it and puts it into Liberty's half. But again, you just wonder how long this is really tenable for Eastern. As good a job as the Panthers have done trying to just take the sting out of the game and keep everything in front, and they have done a good job of that. Take nothing away. Here's Kone over the top. Kone sends one into the 6, taken easily by Chad Smith, who tries to quickly restart. Not sure that's the wisest decision, but the Panthers probably looking for any way to ignite a counterattack. Just put a little concern in the minds of the Flames. Kimberling wanted it over the top. It's a good ball, but well handled by Kelly. Here's Eccles, and Moore recovered with Kimberling sliding in. That's the first shot on target for Eastern Illinois from Sam Eccles. Kelly did really well there. Lucas Kelly, the freshman, to initially get his head to what was a good ball from Smith over the top, looking for the run of Kimberling. It was a narrow window to get that ball in, and Moore had come out. Had Kimberling gotten there, he wouldn't have needed to get a whole lot on it to get it past Moore and toward what was at that point an open goal. Findlay, his pass blocked. Care Lorenzo finds Lechuga, who goes down. Referee looked like he was going to call a foul. I think in the end playing advantage, though he didn't gesticulate. Now he does. Here's Eccles on the run. Still Eccles. On his left, Eccles has it blocked by Swinehart. The best sequence these last couple of minutes for Eastern. Van Effring has his shot blocked. Here's Lechuga. Works to the byline. His ball handled by Swinehart, who gets a second swipe and sends it clear. Michael Huss just trying to hold up play. Kane wanted to switch it and got that ball all wrong. But the speculation I was getting to is, no matter how well Eastern Illinois has executed the plan to this point, as we see some significantly earlier substitutions in the second half, Betts, the right back, makes way for Liberty and allows Perry Blay to return.
Liberty substitution number 4, Perry Blay.
Eastern Illinois, it's Jared Cornejo on and Adrian Lechuga off. But it just doesn't take a lot, and you wonder about the mental and physical fatigue and how Eastern Illinois, if they're not even able to get a few passes together and get themselves a rest, get their defenders a blow, how long can they really hold on? But that was a good sequence there, those last few minutes. Findlay combined with Kane, just tried to put one across for Huss. Eastern cleared again, but again, just one touch from Eccles, and it allows Liberty to get right back on the ball. Here's Smith. Cornejo makes a run. Smith tried to clip one in the direction of Kimberling. Here's Smith again. Oh, just lost out on that far side by Cornejo. Unfortunate for Eastern Illinois, but promising signs these last 4 or 5 minutes for the Panthers out of nowhere, putting together some good possession. Ocho Fastine comes off for Liberty, and the freshman Elijah John on in his place. Here comes Farner. Allen, and his cross off Allen and out over the byline. Just the second corner of the afternoon coming up for Liberty.
Corner kick.
Flames had more corners than any other team in the Ohio Valley Conference this year. Just their second of this game as we approach an hour played. Lindenwood have arrived ahead of our second quarterfinal today. Corner sent in, loose in the 6. Eberle deflected that one in front. Trott was there, maybe one or two other blue shirts as well. But Eastern Illinois been able to get it away. Gora coming back on in place of Leo Kane, who has not shown his best in the first few minutes of the second half. He was much better in the first. Maybe just a quick break for the freshman. Long throw, Eberle flicks it on. Gora got something on target, but Allen was there sprawling. Make it Care Lorenzo, who blocked the shot. Looked like that was on target. Here's Smith on the run. Kimberling joining, so too Eccles. Smith looking for Eccles, but Blay gets a foot to it for Liberty, critically so. Here's Van Efferink. Cornejo, and he's just clipped slightly by Trott. Referee spotted it. Another set piece coming up in the attacking third for EIU inside the final half hour. Panthers just doing what they can these last now 6-7 minutes to show some attacking intent. Care Lorenzo to take it it would appear. Van Efrink is also there, but he's walking away. It's Kerr Lorenzo, headed out by Trott, who redeems himself after committing the foul. Keep in mind, by the way, Gora on as the left wing, 7 in blue for Liberty, does have the only yellow card to this point. Probably somewhat unlikely he would find himself in a situation where he'd be likely to pick up that second yellow, but just something to keep in the back of your mind. It's the sort of thing that could really level the scales from a possession standpoint, or Liberty to get a player sent off. Though Eastern Illinois, to their credit, I don't want to sell them short. They've been doing what they can to level things as it is. Certainly they've at least taken some of the pressure off their back line these recent minutes. Gora flicks it on. Kerr Lorenzo is there. And Owen Moore out to get it for Liberty. Long ball for Huss. Falls for Gora, who takes it nicely. Findley. Elijah John finds Blay, the fellow substitute. Farner couldn't work his way past Kyle Ward. The Eastern Illinois left back. Ward thought maybe he had won a throw. Instead, it's Liberty's. Here's Eberle. Eberle did well there to shield off Cornejo. Finds John in some space. Good ball for Gora. Those switches have often been on for Liberty, but just not well executed. Not a bad idea, but always going to be a difficult needle to thread. Looking for John on the cutback along the ground. Eberle's tackling has been fantastic in the midfield for Liberty. Made that look really easy to get his body between Eccles and the ball. Here's Blay. Kerr Lorenzo under pressure from Gora and can only put it out for a Liberty throw. Played nearly 70 minutes, or nearly 65. Still no goals. Looks like Leo Kone, by the way, is getting ready to come right back on for Liberty. Not a big surprise because he's played well in this game. Just a quick break because the coaches, I don't think, were thrilled with how he started the second half. Michael Huss trying to turn, and Liberty want handball.
Corner kick.
It's out for a corner. Jake McConnery had gone down, as we often see defenders do, sliding, reaching out with a foot to try to get something in and disrupt the shot. And as is natural, his arms were up around his head, and that ball might have just come off his elbow or forearm. Probably still in natural position, not especially outstretched from his body. Flames had a shout anyway. Gora, back post. It's Kelly. Eberle couldn't react to it, and it's out for an Eastern Illinois goal kick. There were 2 or 3 unmarked or effectively unmarked blue shirts at the back post for the Flames.
Number 20, Leo Kone.
Initially, I thought Gora had gotten too far underneath that corner, but really nobody reacted well to it for EIU, and the Panthers are fortunate. That Kelly header, which was probably wisely played back in front, didn't result in anything further. Here's Kone back on. He's going to give Michael Huss a break this time, and not the first action Kone was hoping for. Farner will play through the middle for Liberty, with Huss getting a breather. Kane on the right, Gora on the left. Kelly goes long, looking for Farner. Rather simple for Van Effrick to get in the way. All the way back for Owen Moore. Eberle turns on Cornejo, gets a bump in the back, goes down. And a quick restart for the Flames. Findlay steps past Van Effrink. Kane just straight offside. Little bit sloppy from the freshman Kane. He wasn't really trying to time a run. Not much reason to be offside there, and he's looking right down the line. He's got it all in front of him. So you'd like to see him keep himself onside in that situation. Third time Liberty have straight offside. Eastern Illinois flagged just once. It's a break for the Panthers, who have gotten a couple but have earned them for the most part this afternoon. Trying to make a major change to that 4-0 scoreline from Charleston last month. Farner through traffic. Farner goes to ground. The referee waves away the shouts. Gora keeps it in. Ward turns and clears. Farner probably was fouled, but you can see what the referee's looking at, which is that he'd already taken a heavy touch, and that ball's running away from him one way or the other. So Farner probably looking for the contact, but Eastern Illinois a bit fortunate. Farner did well to keep it in, but his momentum had taken him so far away from the byline. Van Effring got there first. Brave header from Swinehart. And it's a Liberty throw. Eberle just uses his body really well with and without the ball. Gora puts the moves on Allen. Sliding intervention by Bruce. And it's a Liberty throw. That hit the corner flag, but went the wrong direction from a Flames point of view. Eberle under a little bit of pressure, under a lot of pressure, still keeps possession to Kelly. Farner just had that go off his knee. Here's Kimberling. Just tells Eccles to go fetch. Swinehart's there first, goes back to his goalkeeper, and Moore sends it long. Blay just stood on the ball for a moment, but recovered before Kimberling could get there. Gabe Finley can turn. Elijah John can pick his head up. Gora can gallop into the space. Finley, Gora made a good run. Finley turned away, and his pass for Kane didn't get there. That was a promising attack from Liberty. I thought maybe Gabe Finley could have kept his eyes on Gora for just a moment longer. Opportunity there maybe for a 1-2. Gora goes to the byline on Allen, who gets a piece of the cross. Bruce keeps it in. Van Effring gets it clear. 70 minutes played, still 0-0. Kone. Finley with a yell goes to ground. Wanted the foul on Kerr Lorenzo, didn't get it. He's back to his feet, back on the ball. Kone, his cross blocked. Ward stays with it. Farner to the byline. Farner's cross could have gone anywhere. It's off Bruce, who hardly knew anything about it. Right off the left side of his chest, maybe the shoulder. And it went behind. In the end, not painfully close to Chad Smith's goal. But had it been right inside that near post, I don't know that Smith would have been able to react. So little time in close quarters. It's a Liberty corner. Gora floats another one to the back post. This time there's a white shirt there to get something on it. Back into the mixer. Bruce header. Gora gets on it. Sets up Eberle, whose shot goes way high. 15 shots for Liberty, 5 for Eastern Illinois. That was 10-1 at half. So it's been 5-4 since halftime. The Flames have put 5 on target. The Panthers just 1.
Substitution, number 29, Adrian Lechuga.
And it's 4 corners to 2 for Liberty. Substitution for Eastern Illinois. Lechuga back on. Cornejo sits. Panthers go short. Farner immediately right on the back of Allen, who gives it away to Gora. I'm not sure that's the best plan of attack for the Panthers. They didn't seem to have a good shape at the back and still trying to play it out with the ball on the ground. Kane interchanges with Blais. Blais takes a tumble. The referee says play on. Kimberling. Smith couldn't get past Eberle. Gora, 1-2 with John. Bruce was there first, and it's off Gora. Painfully so, and the insult to injury is that it's a corner coming up for Eastern, or rather a goal kick, I should say, for Eastern Illinois. Michael Huss will come back on, and it's Farner who gets a break now inside 17 and a half minutes to play. You'd think it'll be a short breather for him. Eccles did well to take that goal kick, and a bit of a ticky-tack whistle against Blais. Set piece into the area. Kimberling went down. Just hoping for a penalty as much as anything at that point. Nice little turn by Lechuga, just flicked it up, can run after it, but Gora pokes it away, and he is fouled.
Eastern Illinois foul, free kick, Liberty.
Free kick into the area, looking for Eberle. Allen gets it clear. And a foul on Finley, and Kimberling is fired up right in his face. There's Eccles. Just 15 minutes to play, still 0-0. We'd have 20 minutes of extra time. And then penalties if still unresolved. Lorenzo out for Allen. Looking for Eccles. Swinehart gets his head to it. And it's through to Owen Moore. Eberle flicks it on. Thumped clear again. Ball spent a lot more time in the air in the second half. Foul goes against Huss, who was second to get to that ball.
Liberty foul.
Ended up
Free
tangled
kick
with
for
Bruce.
Eastern Illinois. Substitutions.
Fastine going to return for
Eastern
Liberty
Illinois, number 2,
in place of
Ocho
Elijah
Eshu.
John.
For Liberty, number 8, Ocho
And for
Fastine.
Eastern Illinois, Usher Eshu, freshman, is coming on for the first time with just 13 and a half minutes to play. Good ball looking for Kane. That was well done by. He's played some good ones today. And Kane just tried to get fancy with it, looking back for Gabe Finley. Good dip of the shoulder from Van Effering to get free. And EIU has a throw inside 13 minutes to play. Certainly extra time well within the Panthers' sights at this point. Here's Huss. Oh, and he just let it roll over the touchline. Tried to take one more step before playing the ball. It was one step too many in the end. Here's Lechuga, and he's fouled by Eberle.
Liberty foul, free kick, Eastern Illinois.
Van Effering. Ward. Oh, tried to go back for Van Effering. Huss was always going to be there first. Van Effering ends up on the turf. Kane gets it off a deflection, and now Eberle with some space. Kelly on the overlap. Goes to Gora instead. Kelly continues his run. Here's Kelly. And that ball just came flying off his foot. A rocket. He has played some really good balls this afternoon. That was not one of them. Eccles. Eastern Illinois bench wanted a shove from Blay, who did have a couple of hands into Eccles' back, to be fair. Here's Kane. Just hasn't been able to put it together in the second half. Eberle, good turn. Eberle, too high again. Second chance for Luke Eberle in the second half, and both have been well over the crossbar. 80 minutes played, still 0-0. Sam Farner getting set to return for the Flames. Eshu just getting his first real involvement. First couple of minutes on the field in the game. Liberty wanted to go quickly, but in fact the Flames bench was holding up play for this substitution. Gora makes way for Farner to return. Looks like Farner will play on this right-hand side for the Flames. Huss through the middle, and Kane will move to the left. Findlay laid in on Eccles. Referee wants to play advantage, but there wasn't one.
Liberty foul, free kick.
Make that, in fact,
Illinois.
Eshu who was fouled, not Eccles. But in any event, it's a free kick for Eastern Illinois inside the 5 minutes. If the Panthers could find a goal somehow at this stage, it would create a very interesting stretch run, because certainly at that point you'd think they would play with 11 behind the ball and just try to see out the remaining time. Care Lorenzo, back post. Owen Moore can easily get there first. Outlet to Blay. Farner wants it down the line and gets it. Too far out of the reach of Eshu. Eccles tangles with the fleet-footed Swinehart, who poked his way through a tight space there between a couple of EIU defenders. Here's Kone. Went to the byline with his left, tried to play one in front. Panthers have done a really good job handling that, because there is pace, there is skill on the flanks for Liberty. And consistently, Panthers fullbacks have done a good job at least making them work to get those crosses in, and the center backs in particular, Bruce and McConnery, have been very good. Long throw, Swinehart just wide. Bryce Swinehart nearly just ghosted in right through the middle of the box. Nobody picked him up. Another one of those long throws from Ocho Fastine at Swinehart, who has scored 5 goals from the Liberty back line this year. Found himself with what you'd have to call at this point the best chance of the game for either team. Foul called against Liberty. Another Eastern Illinois free kick inside 7 minutes. But what a chance that went begging for the Flames. It looked for a moment when that header bounced like it was going to find that far post. There's nothing Chad Smith could do in goal for Eastern but watch with the rest of us. Kyle Ward to take it for the Panthers. He goes short. Van Efrink, after changing the angle, was looking in the direction of Eccles. Instead keeps it on the ground. Here's a little bit of space now for Smith. Julian Smith in front. Eshu, he was in some space. The pass was just ever so slightly behind him. Huss trying to shield the ball. Kept it away from Van Efrink. Kone couldn't get there in time. Bruce back toward the corner flag. Did well to keep that in. Clearance only finds Gabe Findlay. Farner, good looking ball to the back post, nobody home. Kone there first for Liberty. Eberle in some space. Eberle into the area. Eberle still. But Eastern Illinois get there when they need to. That's been the story of the game. Quickly given away, and here's Perry Blay. Referee has stopped it for an Eastern Illinois injury. Looks like Van Efrink, who's down, maybe after blocking that shot. There's a substitution waiting for the Panthers either way. It's Kimberling who's going to come on. But it looks like he will replace Lechuga, who's coming off for the second time in the half, once replaced by Cornejo, and now by a returning Kyle Kimberling. Panthers readying for possibility of another change. There's a dispute now between the coaching staffs over who was in possession when the referee stopped the play. It was sort of an time because Liberty had taken it off that would-be 1-2 from Eastern Illinois, but I think the Panthers had effectively won it back, but it was pretty much right as the whistle was going. The referee has decided it's going to be Eastern Illinois' ball with 5:21 to go. And the clock running again. Findlay. Kone. Leo Kone couldn't quite slide it through for Findlay, but he's back on the ball. Gabe Findlay, stopped by Smith. Farner had to take it off of him. Here's Eshu, who has made a really nice impact since coming on. Josh Oakley, second-year head coach of the Panthers, left it awfully late to give Eshu an opportunity in this game, but he's made the most of it, not even on the field 10 minutes. Kone. Kelly. Two shirts to aim for. Looking for Huss. Falls for Findlay. Farner. Looking for the run of Findlay. Farner again. Over Huss. Kone was there, but the header is skied. 20 shots now for Liberty, 10 in each half.
Eastern Illinois substitution number 14.
But they've only put 6 of the 20 on goal, and none have found the back of the net. Eastern Illinois throw with less than 3.5 to go. Eberle. Looking long for Huss. Well taken. Michael Huss. Sam Farner. Liberty corner. The 5th of the afternoon for the Flames. 87 minutes played. If you're just joining us, Liberty heavily favored in this game, the 3 seed against 6-seeded Eastern Illinois. The Flames beat the Panthers in Charleston 4-0 less than a month ago, but EIU has hung in there all afternoon long. 2.5 minutes from 10 more, 2 10-minute periods added on. There's a chance for Liberty right in front. Trott got his head to it, didn't find the back of the net. Blay sends it long over Eberle. And taken by Smith. Oh, and Eastern Illinois, that's unfortunate. The Panthers had a man go down because they might, had things gone perfectly, had a 2-on-1 going out the other way. Eccles and Eshu had both gone charging out at Blay. He sent the ball right back in, and had Smith been able to release that ball immediately and get an accurate punt that found probably Eccles on the run, could have been real danger for Liberty. Just 137 ticks remain in regulation. We'll have 2 10-minute periods of extra time if we're still level after 90. And then, of course, the ever-looming possibility of penalties. Chad Smith was waiting for the clock to start. Punt looking for Kimberling, finds only his own bench. Farner, nice little touch for Findlay. Kelly did well to step in for that. Looking for Huss, it gets through to him. Huss couldn't send it past. Negotiate his way through Bruce, or rather through McConnery, who also ended up on the floor. Either way, 90 seconds to go, and the ball back in Smith's gloved hand. And he's happy to take a couple of bounces, take his time. Look at that punt in the direction of Eccles, who ends up on the ball in the penalty area. Sam Eccles blocked by Swinehart. Blay gets it clear. What a stunner that would have been. Talk about smash and grab. Eastern Illinois throw with a minute to go. Panthers will make a change.
1 minute remaining.
Just taking a little more time off the clock. Trey Gora.
Eastern Illinois substitution number 12, Trey Gora.
He replaces Julian Smith. Down to 45 seconds. And that throw, I don't know that it was ever in. Either way, Liberty get it back in quickly. Farner off of Ward and out. 30 seconds. Huss. Little tug of the shirt by Allen. Another Liberty throw. 20 seconds. Flames throwing shirts forward. Long throw with 15 seconds. Fastine has to throw it. Down to 10.
9.
Gets it
8,
into the mixer.
7, 6.
Falls for Kelly.
5,
now
4,
for Kone.
3,
blocked away.
2,
and we
1.
will go to extra time. Still goalless in the first ever match for Liberty so far. To put anything past Chad Smith in the Eastern Illinois goal. Swinehart sends it long. Care Lorenzo gets his head to it. 2 10-minute periods of extra time. And we will play the full 20 minutes as there's a foul called against Eccles of Eastern Illinois. We'll play the full 20 minutes.
Eastern Illinois foul, free kick, Liberty.
Regardless of any goals scored. No golden goal here in overtime. And Eberle called for the foul, shielding off a Panthers defender as the ball was on its way down. So quickly a foul called on both teams. 26 combined fouls in the 90 minutes. And 2 combined in the first 45 seconds of overtime. Finley can turn. Here's Farner. Farner, nice little duck away, looking for Huss. Michael Huss just wide. At least one Liberty fan thought that was in the back of the net. Michael Huss on the turn, and he got it away, but couldn't beat Smith on the near post, put it wide. And Liberty still wait. The other thing, of course, the top priority for both of these teams is just to win this game no matter what and get to a semifinal on Wednesday, but whomever wins this game will not be thrilled about an extra 20 minutes on their legs. Liberty just coming off losing 2-0 in San Antonio to Incarnate Word last Sunday. Won't like the idea of having to play them again with 110 minutes on their legs in between, whereas those top 2 seeds will not have played in a week and a half. But you never know. Maybe there'll be a little rust to knock off. Just got through the Major League Baseball playoffs. That's always a frequent talking point, whether those higher seeds benefit from longer time off. Now, baseball, a different sport just because of the everyday nature. But regardless, with 3 games in 6 days required to win, back post, Swinehart, but it's right at Smith. Another header for Swinehart. He sent one wide in the final minutes of the second half. This one right down the middle, and an easy claim for Smith in the early minutes of overtime. Here's Eccles. And it's deflected out off Lucas Kelly.
Corner kick, Eastern Illinois.
He's having to play center back with Swinehart still recovering to his position. But for any of the 4 teams having to play today, anybody but SIUE and UIW with their byes to Wednesday, any of the 4 teams today would have to win 3 games in 6 days to win an OVC championship. And adding an extra 20 minutes to the legs on the front end of that, not an appetizing proposition for either team. At the back post, Bruce. Back into the mixer. McConnery up for it. Bruce again. Half-hearted shouts for handball from Eastern Illinois. Swinehart got the block. Kone. Here's Finley. Eastern Illinois trying to keep the energy up. That's the tough part as the underdog, who have been without the ball for the majority of this game, just to stay mentally and physically engaged. Such a grind to have even made it through the 90 minutes, now almost 95, but they'll have to get to 110. And then the reward will be tired legs, tired minds with penalties coming up. It's a Liberty corner.
Corner kick for Liberty.
It'll be Finley to take it. Right foot in swinger. Eberle up for it, but it just got over his head. Ward got something on it, and Kone sends one high and wide. Liberty have taken 6 penalties this year. Of course, they'd all be in the run of play. No penalty shootouts in the regular season. Eberle took 4 of them, Finley 1, and Elijah John 1. All of them scored. Their goalkeepers combined have faced 3 and conceded all 3. Meanwhile, Eastern Illinois, just 1 penalty. Felipe Carlorenzo took it and scored, though their opponents have taken 4 against them and scored just once.
Eastern Illinois substitution number 29, Adrian Lechuga.
So I suppose you'd give Eastern Illinois an ever so slight edge, maybe on penalties. At the same time, Liberty have scored 6 of them without a failure to convert. Eastern Illinois just 1 for 1. Still 13 and a half minutes separate us from penalties. Perry Blay. Ocho Fastine. Kelly couldn't handle it. Eccles has Eberle on his back. Fun contest. Couple of guys who know how to shield for position. Here's Ward. McConnery floats it long. Eccles was up for it. Falls to Kone. Gets it back nicely from Eberle. Leo Kone can run with it. Maxwell Allen cleaned him out. Liberty throw. 2.5 to go in our first overtime period. Another 10 minutes will follow. The teams will trade ends. Kone to the byline. Pops it up and over. Was there a deflection? I thought so. And indeed, the referee says corner for Liberty. There's a Panther down beyond the byline. Can't see from here who that is. Probably the right back, which would be Maxwell Allen. And the referee waving over the athletic training staff for Eastern Illinois. I'd imagine the referee won't want this corner to be taken. The player's still there if that is indeed Allen. Can't see from here because the number is shielded from view. Minute 55 to go in the first overtime period. Eastern Illinois is going to make a change. Trey Gora will come on. And a big corner coming for Liberty inside the final 2 minutes of this first overtime period. Finley to take it. Near post. Flicked on and cleared by Trey Gora just moments after he stepped onto the field. It is indeed Maxwell Allen who's down. So he comes off and Trey Gora on. You can see the disappointment for Allen that he's not out there right now. Critical minutes for his team. You know the fifth year would want to be part of it. Kimberling now holding his midsection, or was it his hand or wrist? He was doubled over for a moment. He seems okay. Allen is up on his feet, by the way, back beyond that byline. Eastern Illinois just send it long, rather aimless. 40 seconds to go in the first overtime period. Allen is limping very, very gingerly back toward his bench. Don't want to speculate, but with only 10 minutes to go, one more overtime period, it certainly doesn't look like he's going to have any additional involvement in the match, at least today. Cornejo on, and Eshu is off, and that's going to squeeze the last juice out of this first overtime period. And we will go to a second overtime period, still at 0-0, 100 minutes. Liberty attacking the goal to the right side of your picture again. Team switch sides for the fourth and final time. Ward goes long for Eastern. Certainly the Panthers have gone long plenty of times today. And you'd think there would be more of that in store if they were to go through to play Incarnate Word on Wednesday. Finley stretches out to get something on that. Nicely done. Gabe Finley and a whole crowd, and he's fouled. What an effort from Gabe Finley. Just to pull that pass in with his outstretched left foot. Then to tiptoe his way past a couple of Panthers. Wasn't a lot of contact, but referee, I think, got that one right. Just enough to send Finley to the floor. Trott will take a kick for the Flames. He served a couple just in around the penalty spot just to see. This time he goes short to Blay. Looking for Eberle. Kone. Back for Blay again. Liberty unable to find a cross they like. Blay was looking for Swinehart. Eastern Illinois very deep. Eccles the only man not getting behind the ball. Looking for Gora. Gora, who has the size to be the target man. Here's Kimberling the other way. Tries to poke it past Kelly. Kimberling with a big touch, running after it. Kelly wins the foot race. Comes away with it for Liberty. Kyle Kimberling seems to have that attitude, always up for a duel. But Kelly comes away with it. Look at Eberle. Picked his head up a couple of times, even while the ball was rolling toward him, just to try to peek where Leo Kone was. Serves it to him beautifully. Kone, look at that, goes right past Ward. Leo Kone just slipped at the crucial moment. It's a good run from Kone, but that final ball, that final touch just has not been there for him, especially in the second half and now into overtime. Almost 3 minutes into the second overtime period. I don't know that Eastern Illinois have really connected a pass. They certainly have not connected one in the attacking half. There's the first. Lechuga back for Smith. Looking for Lechuga again. It's a Liberty throw. Again, the closer this gets, even as the fatigue builds mentally and physically for the Panthers, who have just been under duress for so many of these 103 minutes, the closer it gets, the more hope there is and the more viable it becomes for Eastern to just try to run this one to penalties. Even if on paper you might give a slight edge to Liberty on penalties, it of course equalizes what we've seen in the run of play, which has been something short of domination from Liberty, but not by that much. The lion's share of possession, much more confident on the ball, connecting passes. Ball's been at this end a lot more often than not. Huss to the byline, nobody in the middle, and it ran out of play either way. Even if he had gotten there, Gora and Kone were trying to arrive, but there was really not much for Michael Huss to aim for. Finley's going to get a break.
Substitution number 19, Elijah John.
Elijah John comes on. We'll see if Finley is finished. Still 6 minutes to go in the second overtime. Did mention Elijah John, one of 3 Flames to have taken a penalty. So you wonder if that's a substitution made with Kelly Finley starting to think ahead to the possibility of penalties. Although Gabe Finley is one of the other ones who has taken one. So I expect we'll see Gabe back out there. Luke Eberle has taken 4 of the 6 this year for Liberty. Finley 1 and John 1. So you'd expect, presumably, all 3 of those players would be on the field when the game ends, make them eligible to take penalties if we get there. Eberle playing for a corner. There were shouts from Van Efrink that ball went back off of Eberle, who never looked troubled by it, and had Eberle been concerned it was going to be given as a goal kick, he could have kept that ball in. He was right there with it on the byline. 105 minutes played, 5 to go. Farner back on, Kone makes way. And another Liberty corner coming. 8th for the Flames. A lot of congestion inside the 6. Back post. Trott was up for it. It's over him. Here's John. John's cross deflected, but kept in by Smith. Able to stop it from leaking over that byline for a 9th Liberty corner. It's basically just a coffin corner punt from Smith. I mean, Eastern Illinois barely making an effort to keep possession at all, just sending it long. They are praying for penalties at this point. Down the line, but out. Farner's slow to get up. Referee stopped the clock. Maybe some discussion about substitution rules. 4th official trying to sort some things out. Farner's going to stay in. I wonder if Gabe Finley was just told he can't re-enter the game. because it looked like he was going to come on. Here comes Eastern. Eccles. Not a bad ball, looking for Kimberling. It was just too far in front of him. Can you imagine? Kimberling back in front. Moore grabs it. Inside 3 minutes. Look at that hold on Huss, and that is going to be a foul. They were both holding, but it's a Liberty free kick. Foul on McConnery, and he's going to be booked.
Yellow card issued to Eastern Illinois.
Josh Oakley is incensed, saying Huss was holding as well. Maybe they were, but ultimately it was Huss who was spun to the ground. Difficult to ask the referee not to give that. It's right outside the area. Clock stopped with 2:37 to go.
Free kick for Liberty.
On that Liberty substitution point, when Gabe Finley was prevented from coming back in, I think the officials were explaining to Liberty coaches as John takes, Gora takes the free kick for John, and it's poked out for a Liberty corner.
Corner kick for Liberty.
That in overtime, both halves of overtime have first half substitution rules, meaning no re-entry. So the Liberty coaches, I think, thought they were going to be able to put Gabe Finley back on. That could be important because he's one of 3 players, as mentioned, for the Flames to have taken a penalty. Back post, Trott got his head to it. Gora. Faustine sends it in. Headed down. Sent long. Karen Lorenzo just trying to give Eccles something to chase. Elijah John brings it down, restores a little bit of order. Here's Swinehart. Farner wants to switch. John sprays it to him beautifully. Farner might have been going for the Meg on Ward. Farner is laboring a little bit. Liberty had wanted to put Finley back on in his place, but Finley cannot come back on. So Liberty, if this does in fact reach penalties, 80 seconds away, Finley will not be able to take one. Fastine long throw coming. And a foul called in the area against Liberty. Eastern Illinois free kick inside 60 seconds to play.
Overtime, 1 minute.
Panthers will take their time here. You'd think maybe Liberty will have one more rush, but not a lot left. The referee stopped the game clock here. Or did he? It's resumed now at a lower number. The clock was stopped at 54 and a half here in the stadium. Now it's under 35. Either way, it's running down. Kelly goes long for Huss. Couldn't control it. I think McConnery was just trying to spin one out. Kind of skewed off his foot and stayed in.
10,
so Adrian
9,
Lechuga put it out
8,
himself.
7, 6,
We're headed for penalties.
5,
the first
4,
match
3,
ever played
2, 1.
at the inaugural OVC Men's Soccer Championship is going to penalties. Sam Eccles scores. 110 minutes, 90 of regulation, 20 of overtime. Not a single ball found the back of the net. Sam Eccles puts Eastern Illinois on the board first in the penalty shootout. To be fair, I suppose Leo Kone did also put one in the back of that net down to our right. But he was well offside, and the flag was up right away. Luke Eberle took 4 penalties this year, converted them all. Eberle denied. Liberty had 6 penalties as a team this year, scored them all. And Eberle himself was 4 out of 4.
For the Eastern Illinois Panthers, number 27, Jared Cornejo.
But he's denied. Eastern Illinois 1 up through 1 round. Jared Cornejo. And he is turned away. I was half expecting the assistant referee's flag to come up there. It looked like Owen Moore might have come off his line. He committed very early to his right-hand side. And now it's Gabe Finley who will, in the end, take a penalty. He scores. Make him 2 for 2 this year, and he's put the Flames right back on terms at 2-2. Only the second penalty scored against Eastern Illinois all year.
Eastern Illinois Panthers, number 6, Felipe Carlorenzo.
Opponents just 2 of 6 against Eastern Illinois now, counting the first 2 in this shootout. 1-1 through 2 rounds. 5 rounds and continue 1 shooter apiece if necessary. Felipe Carlorenzo, who scored Eastern's only penalty in the regular season. Stutter step and a goal. Felipe Carlorenzo makes it 2-1 Eastern Illinois.
Now shooting for the Liberty Flames, number 19.
And John, the third and final Flame, who had taken a penalty in the regular season, will have to answer for Liberty against Chad Smith. John waits and skies it. The first miss. We had 2 saves in the first 2 rounds. Elijah John, the first player to miss the frame of the goal. A tough one for the freshman to take, surely. You could see the emotion on his face. Back to his Flames teammates. Eastern Illinois makes it 3-1. Calmly taken penalty by Maxwell Allen. You can see him limping. Maxwell Allen was down, looked like he could barely walk to his bench. Late on in overtime. But he steps up and takes the penalty. So now, Carlos Trott must score for Liberty to keep the shootout alive. Smith saves! The Eastern Illinois Panthers have knocked off the number 3 seed Liberty. 0-0 for 110 minutes. And Eastern wins it 3-1 on 4 rounds of penalties.
Wednesday, November 8th at 3 p.m. Congratulations to both.